Alright, so what's poppin', everybody? It's your man, Young Ida Costello, back again with another video. Now this video is going to be an album first thoughts slash reaction, and this one is going to be on the new Kendrick Lamar album, Damn. Now I'm going to admit that when I first started hearing this album, since this is my first thoughts, when I first heard this album and I first turned this album on, the first thoughts was like, I don't really know about this one. Because one thing that I can admit from this Kendrick Lamar album is that he definitely takes a different approach from that To Pimp a Butterfly styled album, how it was real political, real black, if you know what I mean. I feel like this one is just a lot more experimental. He still goes political in a way in some tracks along here, but I just feel like it is here and there and mixed up, and sometimes it's high and then sometimes it's low. I will say that when it comes to this album, firstly, the first 6 tracks of this album are completely sick. From 1 to 6, every single one of those are dope, but I will say that after the 6th track, I believe a track comes in which features Rihanna, and then it kind of teeters a little bit and then goes up and then teeters around and then goes up. I will say that when it comes to this Kendrick Lamar album, you definitely have to listen to this album more than once, because I will say that the first time I listened to this album, I definitely didn't know what was going on. It was like my ears were going through this weird kind of phase, and like the music and the sounds, everything just seemed really different, so I had to listen to it again. And I will say that on the second listen, it seemed like more of a cohesive, more of a concise, more seamless listen in my opinion, and it made it definitely sound a lot better. I will say that the second half of this album so far, I do plan on listening to this album more, but I will say that the second half of this album is a little rocky because it goes up, then it goes down. You hear Kendrick talking about love a lot, you hear Kendrick singing a lot on like the Dream kind of beats, and honestly, bro, like, I've been a Kendrick fan since like Overly Dedicated in Section 80, since I was like in what, 8th, 9th grade. And I will say, I don't know about that, Kendrick. I'm not exactly sure. As far as lyrics and as far as flow, Kendrick definitely still brings it. But as far as the production, I believe that the production on this album is probably the weirdest yet. You get some songs in reverse. You get some songs where you get random pitch shifts and you get random beat breaks right in the middle of the album. I just think that it's really different. It's really cool. And I will say that, okay, so like, look, one thing that I kind of had to get off my chest is that whenever people talk about J. Cole or whenever people talk about Kendrick Lamar, they always talk about how those people put them to sleep. And I realized that I've been one of those people who said like, yo, I listened to the last J. Cole album, and I will admit, halfway through listening to it, I wanted to listen to some Lil Yachty. And it's true, because I did want to listen to some Lil Yachty halfway through the J. Cole album. But while I was listening to the J. Cole album, because I heard the album multiple times, I understood where he was going. I understood what he was trying to do with the album. I understood visually, I understood conceptually, I understood introspectively, I understood everything that was going on with the J. Cole album, and I definitely enjoyed it. But I will say that after a while, the album did put me to sleep. But the big problem that I have with these J. Cole haters and these Kendrick haters is that people is quick to say that something is trash. People are quick to say that an album is trash without actually listening to it in depth. When it comes to this album right here, you cannot listen to it one time and know if you like it or not. You know what I mean? It takes a while to listen to it. That's why I don't give you reviews as soon as the album come out. I might give you first thoughts, I might give you little small reactions, but you have to let the album sit with you. You kind of have to live with the album before you actually have your full opinion and your final opinion of the album. You can't just hear an album once all the way through and just automatically give an album a grade, or say that this is the best album, or say that this album is worse than this album, because you haven't actually sat with the album. Like when it comes to Kanye West Yeezus, Yeezus by Kanye West is one of my favorite Kanye West albums. And when I heard that album the first time, I was like, I don't really know about this album. But the more I listened to it, the more I familiarized myself with the sound, the better the album got, and that's what happens with this album right here. Honestly, when it comes to this Kendrick Lamar album, I'm just going to admit, if you don't like Kendrick, if you don't like lyrics, if you don't like weird production, if you don't like digging into music to actually find the full meaning behind the song, don't listen to it, because you're not gonna like it. Go listen to like some Playboi Carti or some Lil Uzi, where they just throw the stuff at you so you can easily understand it, and don't even worry about this project right here, because if you're not conceptual enough, and if you're not going to actually listen to the album and you're too dense to do that, then this album is just not for you. Don't mean any disrespect, it just is what it is. But I will say that for this album right here, my first thoughts, this album right here is a grower. I definitely do plan on getting a review out as soon as possible. The album has 2 features, which is a Rihanna feature and a U2 feature. I will say that I like the U2 feature over the Rihanna feature, and I do like that Rihanna is actually rapping on a song, which seems pretty cool. But I do think that that Rihanna song song that she's actually featured on, that song has to grow on me. But I will say that the ending track of this album is absolute fire. First song and the ending song are definitely my favorite songs so far. But those are my first thoughts of Kendrick Lamar's Damn. How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys like the album so far? Do you guys think that it's trash? If so, put your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I got more videos coming soon. So without further ado, your boy just has to say, hey, blessings, 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 and yeah, Chris out.